Welcome back, MTG Joe here. Today we are doing the weekly meta breakdown for the best decks in Standard Best of One. As always, we cover each week as many of the decks and formats as possible. We also do, like this weekend's the Historic Metagame Challenge, so we have a video out on the best decks for that. So basically, if you're ever looking for the best decks in a format, definitely subscribe to the channel. We try to cover you all the trends and stuff. The fringe decks that are doing well for individuals, we'll start covering those as well. We look at like the trends in terms of popularity of decks, win rates decks, a whole bunch of cool stats there. The data is coming from UntappedGG, what you see on the screen. Companion tool that runs alongside Arena's client, aggregates your win rates, and then puts it with other users. You have a whole bunch of slice and dice views and capabilities there. Link for Untapped is in the description below if you want to get started, track your games, track your win rates. The folks at Untapped actually gave me 10 codes for premium for a month to give away for free. So I will do a draw at the end of this week. So this week being May 19th is today. So I will do it next weekend on the 25th or 26th. So all you have to do to enter is just drop a comment with which card are you most excited to see rotate out of Standard, or which card are you least excited that you don't want to go and you just want it to stay around for as long as possible. So do that, and then I will randomly choose out some winners, and then I'll contact you and get you the codes to get you a month free of Untapped Premium. So we are going to start off. We are going to look at the popularity of decks. Then we are going to look at the top 5 highest win rate decks in Mythic for the last week. And then we have 3 decks this week that are doing well for individuals that are not showing up in the aggregate stats, but decks we want to show off. And that was something we did last week, kind of the more fringy-ish decks, the roguish decks, but are doing well for individuals. So we will get started. Popularity of the day, Mono Red Prowess is coming in at about 15%. We have Boros Convoke 9%. Mono White has been crawling up the last little bit, up to 7%. Izzet Control, mid-5s. So the aggro versus Prowess, Mono Red is basically if there's on Slick Shot or not, and then just density of spells. Mono Black Skeletons at about 5%. The Rakdos aggro, which is basically Mono Red, Splash, the adventure creature that lets you fling, is at 3.4, and then we have Jeskai Control at 3%. Kind of we had the mono red deck kind of fall about 5% last week, and then it's kind of rebounded this last week. Whereas things like the mono white humans were almost on par and have kind of come down relative. We've had consistency with like the Convoke just being about 9%, and then things like Jeskai Control have been like mid in there. Kind of coming in that respect. So we're going to jump into it. So Standard, by the way, I'll paste all these deck lists if you want. I'll timestamp it. It'll all be in the video description so you can pull everything from there. Mythic, May 12th through the 19th. We had 31,000 games of Magic being played. The highest win rate deck is Mono White Humans. So 62% for the deck. You have a number of just kind of human synergies. The Copperco Vanguard is a Lord effect for your creatures, gives them ward. It gives you some ability there. The removal in the deck is like Ossification, Brutal Cathar. The big thing kind of is a Mirror Breaker. So you're an aggro deck facing off likely against a lot of aggro decks. But Luminarch Veteran, there's a lot of ways to make tokens in this deck, and that gives you an advantage, just gaining some life. If you're going back and forth attacking with your opponent, then you can gain like 3, 4, 5 life over the course of the game. Could mean the difference between winning and losing. Card Advantage Engines, Knight Errant of Eos. You also have like Warden of the Inner Sky to kind of scry. The Recruitment Officer is also a mana sink as well. You have Adeline to go wide. Sanguine goes wide and gives you a Lord effect. Thalia attacks. Then Intrepid Adversary as a Lord effect. There's kind of 2 versions of this deck. The only difference is one of them was playing the Mishra's Foundry as a single copy in lieu of a Plains. Otherwise, they're pretty much card for card the same. We then go to Mono Red Prowess. So again, there's a few versions of Mono Red. This one had the highest win rate at 61%. So this one here, we have the Slick Shots, we have the Demonic Ruckus, we have Fugitive Codebreaker. It's opting for 2 Godric's in place here, 18-line special, and then just a lot of cheap interactions. So like Shocks, Play with Fires, Lightning Strike can go face, can go as creature removal. You have Monstrous Rage as a pump effect that gives trample, Ancestral Anger as a pump effect that gives trample, and then Cacophony Scamp can be flung at your opponent for value there. You then go to Esper Midrange. So Esper doesn't usually show up too often in best of one. It tends to be a little bit better of a best of three, well, a lot better of a best of three deck just because you can really pivot how you want to configure the deck. But this version here, pretty much leveraging from Rafine, you have Wedding Announcement to gum up the board. Then it could gain you life. Deep Cavern Bat attacks their hand. Just a lot of removal, kind of interaction. You can play it to some extent at flash speed between like cut downs, Fairy Mastermind, Go for the Throat, No More Lies, Virtues, Wandering Emperor. So a lot of things you could do at instant speed. You get a lot of just big kind of static creatures relative to like all these aggro decks that gain you life, Alkalizats, that you just pump up with Rafine, just gain a bunch of life and kind of outpace your opponent there. You have Restless Anchorage in the mana base, then Concealed Courtyard being the newest land that got added to this deck. Then we go to, it's putting up results, the super budget mono blue tempo deck, 56%. So it's a Artifact Ninja kind of synergy deck. We featured this a couple times, and it's hovered around like 55 to 60% over the last couple weeks. So Spyglass Iron makes an artifact, Network Disruptor is an artifact, Gingerbread's an artifact. The Moon Circuit Hacker can be cheated in, gets you some card advantage. You have High Speed Hover Bike that could come in, tap. So it's like tempo oriented. You take those artifacts, you can make them into like 4/4s or 5/4s with Zoetic Glyph or Unctus Retrofitter. Prosperous Thief makes you a treasure as well when it comes in, so you get that ability there. Then you have Bounce with Fading Hope and Machine over Matter that also bounces. The deck's got Adawara now in it. That was a suggestion I had. And then I think instead of Roadside Reliquary, I just played Mishra's or Myrex. Just give you a creature land that can kind of attack in. Then go to Boros Convoke, 56%. So this version here, most notably, the thing you always look at is what's the 3-drop slot. So no War Leader's Call, just going full Sanguine, full Immodanes. Then the full case here, 2 Yodian frontliners in the deck. In best of one, what you might also want to do is just forego on the Yodian.
Okay.
Nope. Try to. So my Siri decided to go up. What you can do is play Lunarch Veteran instead. Just you make so many tokens that it could help in the races as well, just to gain you like again 3, 4, 5 life. This version here also has the dated mana base. You should be playing Inspiring Vantage. So that's the easiest thing right now. It looks like they haven't updated the mana base, but I would get rid of the Sundown Pass, play a full set of Cavern of Souls, and then a full set of Inspiring Vantage in the deck as well. So very easy kind of upgrades there. So going to the decks of the week. We've featured a version of this combo before, but individual player Butchie Balls, love the name. It's Italian lawn bowling. 69-7 with the deck, which is a crazy win record. So just pop this open. So the deck combo is you self-mill. You have a Hulking Metamorph in the graveyard as well as a Rakdos joins up. With Abuela's Awakening, you target the Rakdos joins up. It becomes a 1/1 creature. It brings back Hulking Metamorph. Hulking Metamorph copies Rakdos joins up. You Legend Rule it. It goes to the graveyard. And then they deal 9 damage, and then you keep looping. They can interrupt by killing the Rakdos joins up in response. So we've played some versions here. This one's a little bit more all in on the combo as opposed to like control. Like I've played some versions of it with Jace, full set of temporary lockdowns, a little bit more interactive. Instead, this version is using things like full set of Philagi, full set of Founding of Third Path, Picklock Prankster in here, Sunset Revelry to gain you some life as well, full Meticulous Archive just to kind of help surveil into the deck itself. So really sweet record for them. This deck's fun to play. Then we go to Jeskai Control. This one went 11-2 by Izzy Ganks. And this one here, it's kind of the traditional blue-white shell. 3 steps ahead, March of Otherworldly Light. You have Union of the Third Path in here, Wandering Emperor, kind of the whole sweeper package. You're playing red for Fires of Victory, removal, and potentially card draw. Lightning Helix for life gain. Lots of incidental ways to gain life, which is important in best of one. And then you have the Zergo and Ojutai as your dragon. So it's Jeskai Dragons. You play 1 dragon, it suddenly becomes classified as a Dragons deck. Discard advantage, recurable threat, like a threat that could keep coming in, or you can just keep it out. So it's got protection the turn it comes in, gives you some card advantage with like an anticipate style effect, and then can come back to your hand. So you have that from jeskai. And then the last deck is my 24s. They went 16-4 with this. This is mono black mid-range crime. Let's call it crime time. So you got Tiny Bones, Rakdos joins up, a lot of legends, Vadmir in here, Hostile Inquisitor, or Investigator, really cool card. Gissa in here to, when you crime, you get tokens, they get bigger. Karavek rebuys you stuff with crimes. And then just like a lot of ways to crime. Hopeless Nightmare, Duress, Cutdowns, Lilianas, Shoot the Sheriff, so just a lot of utility there. This one here, you don't need the sideboard, but the sideboard's available if you want to take it to best of 3. Looks like they just brought their best of 3 deck to best of 1. Myrax, Field of Ruins, a whole bunch of utility lines. So this one looks pretty cool as well. That's it for the week. Let me know what you've been playing. Like I said, if you're interested in joining the giveaway, just type the card that you're most interested in either seeing rotate or stay in the format in standard once we get rotation coming in the next couple months. We'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a great one.